So I hope it is visible and audible. If yes, so just put a message in the chat box so that we can begin with the class. So do it fast. Okay, fine. So now, so in previous class, so we have discussed about so two terminal MOS structure in that energy band diagram. So in this concept, we have discussed about p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor, and then we have discussed how the energy band diagram is utilized to convert a p-type semiconductor into n-type, okay, by providing a particular voltage to the p-type or to the n-type semiconductor. So that is what we have discussed in the previous session. So in today's class, we are going to start with ideal capacitance voltage characteristics and the frequency effects. So here in this concept, we are going to understand that what is the role of capacitance with respect to voltage. So what happens to the MOS structure? I'm using the word here MOS because I'm going to use MOS FET. Okay, that's why we're using MOS here. So here we are going to discuss how the voltage is related with the capacitance and what happens to the capacitance for the MOS structure when there is a change in the voltage. This change in the voltage I call it as differential change in the voltage. So with respect to that, what happens to the capacitance of the MOS structure? Either it may be p-type semiconductor or n-type semiconductor. And then using this ideal capacitance and voltage characteristics, we are going to derive the expression for capacitance, and then we will discuss what happens with respect to voltage for that derivation. That is what we are going to discuss. And for this derivation, I'm going to use the energy band diagram to understand this. And this energy band diagram is completely related with the two terminal MOS structure energy band diagram. Okay, so now I'm going to start with ideal capacitance voltage characteristics using p type and n type semiconductor so that we can derive the relation between voltage and capacitor. So now we'll move on to that. So here this is a concept we call it as ideal capacitance and voltage characteristics. So here we will consider first the p-type semiconductor. So this is a p-type semiconductor, and then once we complete using p-type semiconductor, we'll move on to the n-type semiconductor. And one important thing here, so here I'm going to use only the energy band diagrams to understand the concept and for the derivation. So in that first, I will start with p-type semiconductor. So in this, so now look at these energy band diagrams here. So here I'm showing three energy band diagrams. So this is a first energy band diagram which is related for the p-type semiconductor when we apply the negative voltage to the gate terminal. And I hope I already sent the notes for you guys. So you just go through this. These energy band diagrams are related for the p-type semiconductor, okay, which we have discussed in the MOS structure. The same energy band diagrams I have drawn again. There is no change. So here to discuss this ideal capacitance and voltage, I am going to consider these three energy band diagrams. So in that the first energy band diagram for the p-type semiconductor is, so with the negative voltage is applied, where for the gate terminal we apply the negative voltage. This is the oxide layer, and this is the three energy bands which are occurs in the p-type semiconductor. Similarly, this is operated in accumulation mode. So here I'm going to use three states or three modes. One is accumulation mode for the p-type semiconductor when the voltage is applied as negative, then the depletion mode when the voltage is applied only small positive, and the third is inversion mode when we apply the large positive voltage. This is the same thing which I have discussed in the p-type semiconductor, okay, using the MOS structure. The same thing I am doing here. The same energy band diagrams here. So now, so what happens here for the p-type semiconductor when we apply the negative voltage now with respect to the capacitance and voltage now. Okay, that is what I'm going to consider. So here, when I apply the negative voltage, okay, so we know that, so under such condition, okay, when I apply the negative voltage, so here there is a formation of accumulation, or you can say that the electrons, or sorry, the holes present in the p-type semiconductor will accumulate on the oxide semiconductor interface. So this is what I'm saying, oxide semiconductor interface. So here they will accumulate the immovable ions of, okay, accumulation of holes present in the p-type semiconductor. So that's why it is called as accumulation mode. So due to this accumulation of holes in the oxide semiconductor interface, okay, there is a capacitance which is formed in the p-type semiconductor. So that capacitance we call it as C accumulation, which is written here. This is nothing but C accumulation, which is given by C ox. It is also called as C ox because the accumulation of holes in the oxide semiconductor takes place. That's why it is called as capacitance in the oxide semiconductor interface. So that's why it is also called as C ox. Depends on the permittivity of oxide semiconductor and the thickness of oxide semiconductor. So which is shown in the second energy band diagram, which is shown in the depletion mode here. So this is nothing but this formed by the accumulation mode where epsilon ox is the permittivity of oxide semiconductor and T ox is the thickness of this oxide semiconductor. So due to this, we have formed one capacitor and we call it as C ox or C accumulation, which is formed during the accumulation mode when the gate terminal of the p-type semiconductor is applied with the negative voltage. So this is what happens to the capacitance. Now for the p-type semiconductor, the capacitance depends on epsilon ox divided by T ox. Okay. Now, so what I will do, now I will change this to the depletion mode. So how to change for the depletion mode? So this you will change it by changing the negative voltage with respect to positive voltage. Now what I am doing, I am applying the positive voltage to the gate terminal of p-type semiconductor. So when I apply the positive voltage to the p-type semiconductor, so what happens here? So it creates one induced space charge region. So this is already discussed in the p-type semiconductor with the width xd. We call it as the width is xd here. So this capacitance now is formed due to this induced space charge region or induced space charge width. It is also called as depletion region also. That's why it is called as depletion mode here. Okay. So now I apply the positive voltage. Due to the positive voltage across the gate terminal of p-type semiconductor. So what it happens? Here it creates an induced space charge region, okay, near to the surface of oxide semiconductor interface. So now the capacitance occurred under such condition, we call it as, okay, so CSD, okay. So this is the capacitance due to the depletion mode or depletion region. And this capacitance is completely depends on the width of the induced space charge region and the permittivity of that space, which is called as epsilon s here. So now from this I can say that epsilon s by xd is the capacitance present in the, okay, present in the induced space charge region or in the depletion mode. Okay. So now from this diagram under depletion mode, now we have two capacitors, one capacitor due to the accumulation and one capacitor due to the depletion mode. So now, and these two capacitors are connected in series now. They are in series. So now the total capacitance across this, what I am saying here is the total capacitance across this is given by, So that I'm going to show you now. This is the total capacitance, and I call it as C total. Okay, so C total is the capacitance. Okay, so now I will go for that diagram or that derivation where we are focusing for the C total. So here the same explanation is given. This is the first for accumulation mode. For accumulation mode, the capacitance is epsilon x by Tox. Tox is the thickness, epsilon x is the permittivity. So which occurs under the accumulation mode. Similarly, for depletion mode, we have C depletion, where epsilon s is the permittivity, xd is the width of the induced space charge region. It is also denoted by CSD. So now I said these two capacitors are in series. So therefore we can write here the total capacitance per unit area of such condition is given by. So now here I am considering these two now. So one in the accumulation mode and one in the depletion mode. And these two are in series. So therefore the capacitor in series always reciprocal. I hope you guys know this. Okay. Capacitors, if they are in series, they have to taken in reciprocal. So therefore we can write 1 by C total. That is the total capacitance between the accumulation and depletion mode is given by the sum of these two, that is 1 by Cox plus 1 by CSD. Okay, so therefore we can say that now what I want is C total. So to get the C total, first we need to take the LCM here. So you take multiply here, this is CSD, this is Cox. CSD plus Cox divided by Cox into CSD. So once I got this, but I need C total. So let us take the reciprocal of this. So therefore we'll get C total equals to denominator becomes numerator and numerator becomes denominator. So we will get C total equals to we will get C total equals to Cox into CSD divided by Cox plus CSD. So now let us substitute these values in this. So what I will get? So now Cox divided by Cox plus CSD. What I have done here? Here the CSD in the numerator has taken into the denominator. So here this has taken into the denominator. So now I can write this as here this is taken to the denominator, right? So what I will get? This becomes 1 by CSD. So again multiply this. I will get again Cox into CSD divided by Cox plus CSD. There is no change. I'll just rearrange this equation so that I can get C total in particular order with respect to capacitance. So that's why I'm doing this. So therefore we can write Cox divided by Cox plus CSD divided by CSD. Now here in this, CSD is denominator for these two terms. So if I separate these two terms of the denominator, what I will get? So this is Cox divided by Cox by CSD plus CSD will get cancelled and I will get it as 1. So therefore you can write Cox divided by CSD plus 1 here. So once we got this, now we know that Cox is nothing but what? Epsilon x by Tox, right? So here Cox is replaced by epsilon x by Tox from equation 1, and again equation 2 is nothing but what? CSD. So the CSD is nothing but what? Epsilon s by xd, right? So now here in this term, I am substituting these two values. Cox is replaced by epsilon x by Tox and CSD is replaced by epsilon s by xd. So this is the same thing is written here. So now let us multiply this Tox to the denominator because this is epsilon x by Tox. So which is written here. So this is epsilon x divided by Tox. This is taken to the denominator. So Tox into bracket of 1 plus epsilon x by Tox, right? Into, so xt by epsilon s. I hope you guys got this. So this xt goes to the numerator here and epsilon s comes to the denominator. So this is a simple mathematics which I am doing here. Epsilon x divided by Tox, which is written here, okay, into xt goes to the numerator. This becomes epsilon s. So that's why it is rearranged like this. So now in this, if I multiply this Tox, what happens here? The Tox present in this will get cancelled. So because Tox and Tox get multiplied. So they will get cancelled. Thus 1 is multiplied with the Tox. So what I will get? We will get epsilon x divided by. So multiply here. This becomes Tox plus epsilon x by Tox. Here Tox get cancelled. I will get epsilon x by epsilon s into xd. Right? Because here Tox and Tox get cancelled. So in the last expression, so what we get here is, so we get C total equals to epsilon x divided by Tox plus epsilon x by epsilon s into xd. So now from equation 3, so what it indicates that here from equation 3 we can say that the induced space charge region. So here the induced space charge region is nothing but here xd. So this xd, okay, which is written in the denominator, so that we can say that it is inversely proportional to the capacitance of the MOS structure of p-type semiconductor. So now I can say that here the width of the induced space charge region is inversely proportional to the C total. So when this induced space charge region width increases, then the capacitance is also decreases, right? Because they are inversely proportional here. So from this, it is clear now the MOS structure, okay, if I apply the positive voltage to the MOS structure of p-type, then the capacitance will decrease for the given positive voltage. So now we will left with another possibility here. So that one here, is third one. This is, so in this p-type semiconductor, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply the large positive voltage. So what happens to this p-type semiconductor when I apply the large positive voltage? So as we know that when I apply the large positive voltage, the width of the induced space charge region, that is x of dt, okay, it again increases, but the condition here is it remains constant for a particular large voltage. So it becomes constant for a particular large voltage. So therefore, and at this case, it creates the inversion mode, means there is an accumulation of electrons in this mode. So that's why you call it as inversion mode. And at this case, here the p-type semiconductor is now act as a n-type semiconductor because of here the accumulation of electrons takes place due to the inversion mode. And due to this induced space charge region remains constant for the large positive voltage. Okay, so therefore we can say that here, so this is the XD for depletion mode, and so now we have applied the large positive voltage. So when I apply the large positive voltage, that XD here, this XD in the depletion mode is directly replaced by X of dt, because this is the induced space charge region width for the inversion mode, and this remains constant. So now once this remains constant, so if, and again it is inversely proportional to the total capacitance. So but now what I will do, I will change the voltage, the large positive voltage which is applied to the gate terminal. Again I will increase, means I will make a differential change in that voltage. If I make the differential change in that voltage here, due to this constant, now I can say that this C total starts increasing. So that is important here. This C total now starts increasing because now it completely depends on epsilon x divided by Tox, because x dt remains constant. Okay, so for a particular large voltage, this remains constant. So now